Welcome back to the library. I'm Miss Taylor, and I'm your children's librarian here at the Giddings Public Library. This is part 3 of Let's Learn About Plants. Are you ready for another story? Let's read Miss Penny and Mr. Grubbs by Lisa Campbell Ernst. Miss Penny and Mr. Grubbs by Lisa Campbell Ernst. Miss Penny and Mr. Grubbs had been next-door neighbors for 48 years. And for all 48 summers, the same thing had happened. Miss Penny's incredible garden grew enormous vegetables, mountains of them, and Mr. Grubbs' garden did not. Miss Penny was a familiar sight in Oak Grove, driving her truck around town, delivering gifts from her garden. Carrots and beans, cucumbers, lettuce, and more. Her friends all called her the Vegetable Lady. And every year, Miss Penny's vegetables won at the county fair. Award ribbons lined the walls of her parlor, floor to ceiling. Mr. Grubbs had a few friends, and his measly vegetables had never won a single ribbon. But Mr. Grubbs swore this year would be different. "I'm tired of her winning," he snapped. "I'm so tired I could spit." All winter long, the vengeful Mr. Grubbs plotted and planned, and by spring, he had devised the most evil scheme one gardener can plan against another. And then Mr. Grubbs sat back to watch what happened. It took Miss Penny several days to notice that something was wrong. Weeding along a row of radishes, she discovered a small bed of lettuce, nibbled to the quick. Miss Penny's mouth dropped open. She had read about this in her gardening books. "Rabbits," she gasped. Mr. Grubbs laughed himself silly. A fence, Miss Penny decided, and quickly got to work. Under the watchful eye of Mr. Grubbs, she brought out her tools and spent the rest of the day hurriedly sawing and hammering. "Now that," she said proudly, "should keep my garden safe." And it would have been safe, except for the scheming Mr. Grubbs. "You rabbits gained some weight," he gleefully noted that night, snipping through the fence. The growing rabbits returned to their work with enthusiasm. By the next morning, Miss Penny's garden was missing 2 rows of broccoli and 1 of turnip greens. "Jumpin' jelly beans," Miss Penny cried, examining the fence. "Those rabbits have sharp teeth." Shaken, she consulted her book about garden pests. First, she tried playing music all night, then making a scarecrow, then even building safety basket traps. But every night, Mr. Grubbs made sure her efforts were fruitless. In fact, as the weeks passed, Mr. Grubbs became so engrossed in watching Miss Penny's garden that he quite forgot about his own. He forgot to water, he forgot to weed. "This is all her fault," he hissed, finding his pathetic garden shriveled and dead. By nightfall, Mr. Grubbs's anger had made him even more determined. "Just so she doesn't win," he snarled. "That's all that really matters." But what mattered to Miss Penny was her garden. For 48 years, she had tended turnips, cultivated carrots, and weeded watermelons. She was not about to give up now. Miss Penny tried spraying her plants with an herbal mix called Rabbit's Away, which the rabbits thought was quite tasty. Next, she tried shining bright lights on the plants, leaving the sprinkler on at night, and putting sticky tape where paws might find it. She tried covering the plants with boxes and blankets and mosquito nets. In July, she even tried leaving out plates of store-bought vegetables so the rabbits might leave hers alone. Miss Penny tried everything. Then it all got out of hand. More hungry rabbits appeared. Baby rabbits, too. Even more than Mr. Grubbs could count. "Eat up," Mr. Grubbs chuckled. As the baby rabbits quickly grew larger and larger, Miss Penny's doomed garden grew smaller and smaller. By summer's end, Miss Penny's garden was a nightmare. Wearily, she wandered down each row. Everything had been nibbled, munched, crunched, and trampled. "I've had nothing to give my friends," she moaned, "and now I have nothing for the fair tomorrow." Then something caught Miss Penny's eye. A sweet red pepper. Somehow it had escaped the ravenous rabbits. It was perfect, the most perfect pepper Miss Penny had ever seen. "I will guard it myself," she cried excitedly, "all night, and in the morning I will take it to the fair." Miss Penny did indeed stay with her pepper all night long, but just before dawn, her eyes grew so heavy she could not keep them open. The keen-eyed Mr. Grubbs saw his chance. Tiptoeing towards the rabbits, he hissed, "Go ahead, eat it." But the rabbits refused to budge. "Oh, dumb animals," Mr. Grubbs sneered, plucking the prize pepper off of the plant himself, and with a wicked smile, he took one bite of it and dropped it on the ground. When Miss Penny woke up, she could not believe her eyes. Rabbits crowded all around her, and beside them lay the ruined pepper. Miss Penny shook her head. "Now I have nothing for the fair," she cried. The rabbits, fat with glossy coats and shiny eyes, all twitched their noses. Mr. Grubbs danced a victory jig in his backyard. At last, he had won. And then suddenly, he heard a noise. It was Miss Penny's truck driving off. Quickly peeking through the fence, Mr. Grubbs discovered that the rabbits, too, were gone. Racing after the truck, Mr. Grubbs was shocked to see it stop at the fairgrounds, and even more surprised by the events that followed. Miss Penny, with no vegetables, entered her rabbits in the fair. Their incredible summer diet had made them spectacular examples of their species, the judges said, awarding Miss Penny top prizes. And after the fair, Miss Penny delivered gifts of rabbits to all her friends. The largest pair she generously saved for her longtime neighbor, Mr. Grubbs. Welcome to the Library Kitchen. Do you have any fruits or vegetables in your house that have exposed roots, like this? This is a green onion, but you can also try leeks, lettuce, or other vegetables. As long as they have an exposed root, this project will work. We're going to grow our own garden in our windowsill. All you need is a vegetable cutting, a glass. Doesn't have to be clear, but it's nice if it is because you can see the project the whole way through. And of course, ask an adult for help with shears or a knife. If you have stems of vegetables like this green onion sitting around your house, don't throw them away. What you can do is if you put them in water, some vegetables will start regrowing themselves. The green onions will start growing back out of the stem. You can put a whole line of these in your window for your very own garden at home, and you're reusing and recycling your vegetables. You can also grow plants from seed right in your windowsill. Seeds are easier to find than you may think. You don't have to go buy seed packets at the store. Regular beans, dry beans, like pinto beans or black beans, are really just seeds, and they will sprout right in your windowsill. Try using a paper towel. Get it damp with a little water. And hide your baby seeds in the paper towel. And then place it into a Ziploc bag. Close the bag up and tape it or hang it in your windowsill. And in a few days, you'll start to see the shell come off the seed and the little baby plant come out of the middle. If you don't have Ziploc bags at home, don't worry. The seeds will grow just as well in a glass. Try putting some cotton. You can use paper towels or cotton balls or anything just to help soak up the water and give the roots something to attach to. So hide your little seeds down in here in the cotton. And give them a few days to start sprouting. Have you ever grown a plant before? Hopefully you all have your own little window gardens now, and I hope this is a lot of fun for you to keep track of how your plants grow as a family. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading with us today. I'll see you Wednesday on Facebook, live at 5:30 for Storytime Live, and then I'll see you back here on Monday for another Let's Learn Together video. Be well, everybody.